Welcome to the men's Supa-Liga grand final for the 2023 winter season. We have the Northern Hawks in their away yellow strip taking on the formidable Phoenix Futsal WA in their traditional orange and black, and just running through the lineups for the Northern Hawks. It's Betim Ziba starting alongside Adriano Jelenovic, Devin Rindell and Michael De Philippis. And for the Phoenix, it's Mohamed Titonchi, Barat Jarja, Art Milham and Bakir Zayed. As we get underway, a high press coming out from Phoenix, a quick ball over the top. Al-Qarahuli trying to deal with the danger and slides that one out beyond the touchline. I'm joined in the commentary box today by Ben O'Brien.
Hello John, how are you today?
Yeah, good. Looking forward to an extremely entertaining encounter of futsal between two of the best sides in the state. Strong lineups, but for the Hawks, they're obviously without their talisman, Chez Houston. I'm sure we'll be watching from Malaysia. Is the early shot coming in from Al-Qarahuli. Formato with the quick release up the other end. De Philippis, lovely feed, and Michael De Philippis has found the opening goal for the Northern Hawks. Plenty of talk on social media in the week, partially from myself. Not many people thought the Hawks without Chez Houston would be able to match Phoenix Futsal WA, but they've done something that their Cobras couldn't do throughout all of normal time and extra time last week, and they found the early opener. It was Michael De Philippis, the youngster who applies his trade in the outdoor game for Sterling Macedonia in the MPL, and a cool, calm finish under Al Mohammed, who is unbeatable, but has been breached early on today.
Seems like Greg's got his side firing early on here, John. Phoenix taking this very slow, and it seems like the Hawks can't match that the Hawks have matched that intensity and bringing it their own way, and raising the intensity for the Phoenix. They can't keep up.
Yeah, well, last week I felt it was the opposite. Obviously, coaching against the Phoenix in the semi-final, where we went down on penalties. The Phoenix are playing at such a high tempo. The game was played with a lot of intensity. After commentating the first v4 game against the FutScarbs, you felt like the intensity dropped a notch when the Northern Hawks took them on. But today it's looking quite the opposite. The Hawks are definitely up for it. And maybe that underdog mindset, maybe not having Chez Houston is spurring them on to play even harder. And Phoenix have come into the match a little bit complacent, as Michael De Philippis, the goal scorer, on the ball, gives it to Rindell. And the ball looking forward for Ziba, who's given away the foul on Bakir Al-Qarahuli, to the delight of the crowd who are making some noise. It sure is a big crowd for Phoenix today, isn't it, Ben?
Yes, it's going to make the difference to the fifth man, and this is one man the Phoenix crowd really want to get in the head of, is Benton Ziba. Very, very mouthy with the referees usually, so it's going to be very important to get under his skin and maybe get that red card, which can make all the difference.
Yeah, Ziba already getting the attention from the referees. He's given away an early foul, and you can see he wasn't happy about it. So for Phoenix, if they are able to get in his head, it could be a tactic that they can use. But obviously, likewise for the Phoenix, the Hawks have plenty of players on the Phoenix side that they can try and get in the heads of. Al-Qarahuli, he doesn't take decisions going against him lightly at all. And neither does this man on the ball, Ali Milham. Well, the Milham has been superb this season. The Golden Boot winner, the leading assister in the competition. And you'd have to say he's well on track to taking out his second consecutive and third ever Supa-Liga MVP. As we see Milham on the ball, being marshalled by De Philippis. Al-Qarahuli going down off the ball. I think caught by the referee. A lovely back heel from De Philippis. He's on the ball again. Here's Jelenovic, the Armadale SC striker. Rindell looking for the one-on-one. It goes for the back post ball to Philippus, who's he brought to ground. And the referee awarding the penalty. Michael De Philippus has been amongst it early. He's scored the goal. He's won the penalty. And it looks like it will be the Croatian Adriano Jelenovic who will look to beat Muslim Al Mohammed from this spot.
I've got to say, for what I predicted would be quite a cagey game, it's been very, very exciting and very, very Hawks dominated so far in terms of chances.
I'd have to agree. I mean, coming into the match, I thought the Phoenix were the hot favourites. In the write-up, I touched on it. I was telling people last week, Jelenovic has put it wide. Astonishing. As I said, I was telling people last week, I would be surprised if the Hawks got it over the line without Chez Houston. Well, they've just squandered an opportunity to make it 2-0. The pressure from the away fans maybe getting the better of Jelenovic, but they've won the ball up high, the Hawks. Can they force it over the line? Muslim Al Mohammed doing well to come and collect it. And here's Kenani, who is the first substitute on for Phoenix. Milhem to Kenani, who will look to raise the tempo. And Milhem, that one was destined for the top corner, but a smart save from Daniel Formato, who's been stellar all season. He's only been breached a mere 8 times. He will need to stand tall tonight if his side will surge on to victory.
And what I think is interesting is they didn't start Kanani on the field. You see, Kanani is actually their third top goal scorer of 5 goals and 4 assists. When it doesn't go through Ali Milhelm, it goes through either Back or Mason Kanani. And him not starting is, of course, maybe something that may have cost them the first goal.
And that ball lobbed over the top. Alec Goida can't quite bring it under control.
Of course, we had Ahmed Australian joining us on the court, the WA's best defender, self-proclaimed. What are your thoughts on that, John?
Well, he'll have a tall task ahead of him tonight and a good chance to prove that accolade if he is able to contain the likes of Rindell, the likes of Lukman Saeed when he comes on, and even Vinny Longo, who's back for his first game in a while, obviously being on holiday. As we see Saeed enter the court now, the Coburn City fullback. He's had a stellar first campaign for the Northern Hawks and will look to cap it off with a grand final victory. As Tate is on the break, squares it, it's fallen to Saeed, but it's a big save from Muslim Al Mohammed. And a sideline ball for the Hawks to follow. Saeed headed over by Ashraking, showing us some of his defensive acumen. Tie Tate for the Hawks. Rindell! Deflection. Al Mohammed dealing with the danger. Now Al Korahuli up the other end. But Formato called into action and proving very reliable so far.
Of course, if we see the comment section on YouTube, we would love to see your predictions today. We have a 3-1 prediction from goalkeeper Midi to the Hawks. What are your thoughts on that, John? Do you think that is on for today?
It's hard to tell. I mean, I'll usually give predictions in a regular season encounter, but in the grand final, it's so hard with the teams so evenly matched. To be honest, coming into the game, I thought the Phoenix were the favourites to get over the line, but the way things are panning out now, you never know. Saeed to double the lead, still going. And it was Bakar Al-Karahuli who saved Phoenix at the back after Al Mohammed was rounded.
I've got to say they've done very well to recover this. Usually the most dangerous part of when you're defending is when you've just conceded, and they haven't conceded yet, so they've done very well, although that penalty may have been a goal. It didn't result, so they're very lucky in that sense, but the Phoenix have done well to stabilise the ship.
It's Al-Karahuli trying to go up the other end. Milhem! And there's the equaliser. Ali Milhem, none other than the talisman, finding the back of the net. And you'd have to say if anyone was going to score for Phoenix, it was going to be Ali. Another prediction coming in from Zephyr McPherson. 3-2 to the Phoenix. Well, it's looking more likely now. Will Adriano Jelenovic's missed chance prove costly? They had a chance to make it 2-0 only moments ago. Now the scores are pegged level. It could go from bad to worse for the Hawks as Ellis is being pressed high.
Of course, it's very important to mention the sixth man on the court, the crowd. Of course, Ali Milhelm rushing over to the crowd with his celebration. Let's see if they can spur on their Phoenix side.
They're going to play a big part tonight. That's safe to say. There's that one flashing past the back post. Unfortunately, the Shruggin couldn't get a touch on it. Formato punts it forward, looking for Tate's run. Tate battling with Milhelm. Milhelm all the way back to Al-Karahuli, who looks for the over-top ball.
Seems like despite the Cobras giving the textbook answer about how to deal with Ali Milhelm, the Hawks have let one in from Ali. What are your thoughts on that, John? What was your strategy marking Ali?
Well, our strategy was to sit back, let Ali have the ball when it's not dangerous, and try double team him when he tries to go forward. Now, I was criticised for being too passive, some would say, but as you can see, if you do try and play offensive, you do try and attack the Phoenix, they can break you so easily as they did there. A textbook ball from Al-Karahuli, linking up with Milhelm, finding him at the back post, and it really was to the crowd's delight. Customary Ali Milhelm goal. Alagoda, Milhelm breaking forward and trying to find Kanani's run. And look, I think the Phoenix can exploit the four on the court now for the Hawks. A relatively weak side, in my opinion. No disrespect to the players, but you've got Rindell on the bench, you've got Jelenovic on the bench, you've got DeFilippis on the bench. Saeed and Alagoda, not bad players in their own right, but if I was coaching, I probably wouldn't have Alice or Bredemeyer on together at the same time, and we saw it almost prove costly. Bredemeyer, cross-court ball to Saeed, flicks it down the line, parallel. Now Shruggin trying to come away with it. Al-Karahuli over the top. Bredemeyer does the job well defensively. Milhelm.
I think what's really important here is that Greg seems to be switching. Greg Farrell, the Northern Hawks coach, seems to be switching formations as he's and play styles while depending on who's on the pitch. As you see here, they had the 4-0, but as soon as that target Jelenovic gets on the court, they go to the 3-1, which is maybe when you'll see Devin Rindell join us.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing, the Hawks are keeping their subs rolling quite quickly. Phoenix are not doing so. So toward the end of the game, Hawks may have more fresh legs than Phoenix, who are only running the 3 subs on the bench to, I believe, the Northern Hawks 5. As we see Vinny Longo check in for his first minutes of the match. He's been absent from the side for a while after being holidaying in Italy, but he's a very talented player, part of the West Coast Cobras double winning side last season. And we'll look to complete a second one tonight as Kanani with the ball on the wing. Lovely footwork from the Iranian. Here's Milhelm. And a good cutout by Longo. Saeed in a battle with Milhelm. Still going Ali Milhelm. Tries to play it across the court to Shruggin. And here's Kanani. And Milhelm. Zayed. Milhelm. Al-Karahuli plays it to Kanani. Now Milhelm's on the ball. Shruggin lurking around up top, but he's probably not the best target option for them. Gets on it now, Kanani! And that's goal bound. A great finish from Mason Kanani, who just tipped it past down Formato. And the crowd erupting once again.
I think Omid is struggling to make you eat your words there, John. Beautiful target play coming short and then flicking the ball over for his runner.
Yeah, very good play from Shruggin. It wasn't the conventional hold-up style target play that you see from someone like Jelenovic or Jar Jar, but he did the job, came wide to the wing and played the return ball through, which is lovely, in fact. DeFilippis using Vinny Longo. Ellis now.
And just as we're talking about Greg Farrell switching format systems of play, we have Northern Hawks joining us in the 3-1. Seems like they've switched it up. They decide the 4-0 isn't working.
Yeah, they're probably going to try and play Vinny Longo up top. He's a decent hold-up player. He's got a good size about him. But the momentum definitely looks to have switched. The Hawks are struggling. And it might be 3 now. Formato struck in. Can he make it 3? It's the side netting.
What are your thoughts? Do you think the Northern Hawks are more dangerous with their 4-0 or their 3-1, John?
Look, I think the Hawks are dangerous in both play styles, but I don't think they have a strong enough side on the court at the moment to be matching the talent the Phoenix have. Try get Rindell playing more minutes. Leave Philippus on for more minutes. I know it's not going to be easy, but maybe going for a more conservative approach, sitting halfway and playing your better players more could be an option. As we see Longo try and barge his way through. Milham with a fancy feet. The crowd's all loving it. Still going Milham. Still going Milham. Rademacher puts it into touch.
Seems like we have Milham trying to make a another clip onto a social media today. Of course, he was one of the players that made a clip that went around the world. Wasn't that right, John?
Yeah, Ali Milham, he's done it in both leagues in WA. He even did it in Colombia with SSC, the crew. I made a documentary on their journey. And Milham is such a coveted player, such a talented talisman. People say he's trying to make highlight reels. That's just his natural game style. He's still so effective despite using so much trickery. Some players, you say they play for the highlights. Ali Milham, he plays effectively and just creates highlights in the process. As it's a free kick for the Northern Hawks. Vinny Longo standing over it. Betim Zeba is checked back onto the court. Can the Hawks make this set play count? Just over or just under 6 minutes to go in this first half. Longo blocked away by Bakar Zayed.
Of course, last time these two teams met in the...
Oh, it's Zeba! And it's the goal! It's the equaliser! And Betim Zeba shushing the crowd. Look, Zeba, it's got to be the most important goal he's ever scored in his career. He was getting around the goals a lot this season, but, he scored the odd cheeky tap in, the deflection hitting him. But what exceptional target play to turn the defender, put the ball in the back of the net, with the stakes of the match being what they are at the moment. Could that shift the momentum back in the Hawks' favour? They've got their first team on the court now. Philippus is re-entered. So is Jelenovic, who's going to be looking to make up for that penalty miss. And Zeba getting another bite of the cherry. This time he can't direct the shot goal bound.
Of course, we were talking about the crowd and the Zeba combination, seeing if that could get in his head, and it seems like Zeba's mouthing off to the crowd a little bit, John. Did you notice that?
Yeah, well, Zeba, he's definitely going to give you a lot of that. He loves to play to the occasion. There are a couple of players on this Northern Hawks side that really do. Rindell, Formato, Zeba, Saeed. They will play to the pressure the crowd brings, and you bet if they get a goal like Rindell may be able to now, they're going to give it to all the Phoenix supporters. Likewise, if Ali Milham scores, if Sayed, if Jaja scores, the Phoenix supporters will erupt and give it straight back to the Northern Hawks. But it's been a good game so far. Hawks scoring the first and the last goal. Phoenix scoring the two in between. A 2-all ball game, nothing to separate the two sides, and we're heading toward half-time.
Of course, we have Bakker, the captain of the Phoenix, with Diego, their coach, missing, calling a lot of shots, and he's called Ali to come back on. Maybe he's identified that their side's not possessing enough possession. Maybe they identified that maybe his side's not got enough chances in the next couple of minutes. Of course, they just conceded that goal with Benton Zeba scoring. What are your thoughts on that, John? Do you think Ali needs to play more of the game?
Well, the same way Lionel Messi personifies Argentina in the outdoor game, Ali Milham is Phoenix. He's got to play as many minutes as he can manage. He's their most dangerous outlet. And as you see, he's back on now. A short stint, gets straight back onto the court, and hopefully for a Phoenix perspective, he can work more magic. It's a good ball in the line for Jelenovic, who looked for Zeba's run, but a little bit of miscommunication sees the ball trickle over. As Kanani trying to get on the outside of Rindell, still going Kanani. Rindell with the challenge. And a bump on the ball. Jelenovic wins the foul. I think it was the right call. Kanani getting a little bit too stuck in.
Of course, Kanani, another player that can mouth off a bit to the referees, expecting a yellow from him at least today. Of course, I played on him with Perth AFC last season, and I'm very familiar that he can lose his head, so it's another player that maybe Benton wants to target with his mouth that he likes to run a bit.
Yeah, that's going to be the age-old question. Are we going to see any dismissals this evening? Because you feel like a red card for either side is going to be very costly. It'll almost seal the game. As De Philippis receives in front of Charger. Tries to break forward, Milham in his way. Will that be called a rolling foul once play stops? Seba back to Rindell. Hawks are doing their talisman. Chez Houston, who I'm sure is watching from Malaysia, proud at the moment. Would it have been a different game if he was present? But that ball from De Philippis almost finding its way through to Rindell.
Of course, a very underrated aspect of Ali's game is his defense. That beautiful sliding challenge, that would have been a nice shot on target for Benton if Ali didn't make that interception.
Ali, one of those players that can do it at both ends of the court. Jelenovic all over Kanani, and that's the right call. Will he go into the book? That's the question. He does. It was a professional foul. They were on the break. Ali Milham was supporting to the left of Kanani.
Very smart foul.
Jelenovic just holding up the plate. Not in a dangerous area really either. You'd expect Formato to deal with anything that comes his way from this sort of distance. As we see Tana Campos deliberating as to where the kick should be taken from. It's even further back than initially expected. And it's Baka Karahuli who's standing over the ball. Plays it down the line to Kanani, who looks to go to that back post but can't pull it back far enough. Formato over the top. Muslim Al Mohammed with a good collection. Kanani spreads play out wide to Milham. These big names for Phoenix going to start to tie it in the second half. 1:20 left on the clock before halftime. It's Sayed driving forward, but Formato is going to gobble those ones up every day of the week. Zeba, Jelenovic just slowing the game down. Michael De Philippis plays that one into Milham. He's disappointed, feels like he's not being given enough options. De Philippis across to Jelenovic. Good ball to find Zeba. And now he's got runners in support. Tries to find De Philippis. Can Phoenix go up the other end? Inside ball wasn't good, but it's found its way through. What a block from Betim Zeba, who really did put his body on the line to deny Bakar Karahuli. And inside the final minute, it's Milham trying to stand up to Philippis, almost finding a way through. Last touch is off the Phoenix number 10, and it's behind for a sideline ball.
I've got to say, John, usually finals are a bit cagey and a bit where you don't see players' best come out, but I've got to say this is both sides are really playing their best game. I haven't seen Phoenix rise to this occasion as much as they have today, and I've never seen Northern Hawks rise to this occasion as much as they have today. So it's really good futsal to see in WA's finest league.
Absolutely. It's not often. Oh, De Philippis with the half chance. It's not often in a grand final you see teams come out as aggressive as the Hawks and the Phoenix have been today. It's so end-to-end, so many chances. And I mean, that's why there's 2 goals on the board, whereas last time out in the semi-finals, both games were 0-0 at halftime. De Philippis, lovely footwork to break the defense. Al Mohammed coming out with the charge. And it's going to be a corner on the cusp of halftime. 6 seconds to go. Hawks can send numbers forward and risk it to create one final chance. But as we say that, Greg Farrell has finally used his timeout. What can the Hawks muster up? We'll be back in just a moment with all the action. Strap yourselves in. Don't go anywhere.
We'll see what Northern Hawks can muster up here. Maybe a Greg Farrell masterclass with a set play here. Have you seen any Greg Farrell masterclass set plays, John?
Oh, well, look, we saw it in, I think it was round 2 against Alliance. They scored 2 set plays to win the game in arguably controversial circumstances. What can they muster up here? Rindell's effort looked destined for the back post, but it was blocked on the way through by Jelenovic, and that will see us out for the first half, unless a half chance coming in there for Australian. And I appreciate all your guys' support on the live stream. What a first half that was. We'll go through the halftime statistics. The Northern Hawks with 163 attempted passes to the Phoenix 150. The Northern Hawks 115 completed passes to the Phoenix 108. 71% passing percentage for the Hawks, 72% for Phoenix. 48.6% possession for the Hawks, 51.4 for Phoenix. 16 shots, 11 on target for the Hawks. 14 shots, 10 on target for the Phoenix, and 2 goals apiece. So can you really get a more balanced game of futsal than that, Ben?
No, I don't think you can, and I think it's been end-to-end, and I think it's been the neutral's favourite game so far. I've got to say, it's been really entertaining.
It's been absolutely entertaining. Nothing really to split these two sides, and you see plenty of fans for both sides, but the neutrals will be loving this one as well. As you can see, roughly 180 viewers between Facebook and YouTube watching the stream. Let us know your thoughts, any score predictions on how you think this second half will go. Keep them coming in. We are set in store for a massive second half of futsal. The question stands, can the Hawks do it again in their 7th consecutive grand finals, 4 of which have seen them win? Or can Phoenix stand tall in what is, for all of these players, I believe, their last game for the club before they jet off to the Middle East Eagles, or the WA Eagles rather? Can they bring home some silverware to Diego Garcia's side? That is the question. Stay tuned to find out. We'll be back in just a moment. And as we are about to get underway, Phoenix Futsal Club getting us kicked off. Korai Artintis coming on for his first minutes of the match, lining up alongside Milhem, Titonchi and Ashragian. And for the Hawks, it's Alice, Jelenovic, Rindell and Lukman Saeed. Musliman Mohammed and Daniel Formato, the 2 sides' respective goalkeepers, both in exceptional form, as Ashragian finds a path to goal. Formato with this save. Ashragian squaring it across the face. Couldn't find the back post ball.
But the ball that Ashragian did across the court was actually out, according to the referee. So we'll have a corner kick. And of course, in my notes for this game, I identified that Phoenix are largely a individual skills team, and then Hawks were a system-based team. But both teams have been doing a lot of both today, and I think that it just shows the levels that futsal has come to in WA. What are your thoughts, John?
Yeah, as you mentioned, the Phoenix tending to usually play individually. They've had a great combination of both today, and the Hawks, who usually play more of a system. We're seeing a lot of individual player come out from the likes of Rindell, from the likes of Saeed and DeFilippis. So it's been good to watch. It's been good for the spectators. It's kept them on the edge of their seat. And it's resulting in an extremely close contest as we see Milhem on the ball here. Across to Titonchi. Looks for the one-on-one. Ups to use Artintis, who leaves for Milhem.
It seems like the Hawks were listening to your commentary about how you kept them goalless last game, because they're sitting now, John. They're not pressing as much, and they're letting that ball go across the both flanks, so it seems like they're really sitting in and letting the Hawks leave that space behind to exploit on the counter.
I think the strategy might be, Phoenix not really rotating their subs as quickly as the Hawks. Eventually, they're sure to tire. Maybe when that happens, they can look to capitalize on chances on the counter-attack. There's one coming in for Adriano Jelenovic there, but just pulling his effort wide.
Well, wouldn't you suggest that if they were trying to tire the Phoenix club out, then they would be pressing most of the time? But they're not. They're sitting.
I think so, but look, if they press, Phoenix might get tired, but they're going to get tired as well. If they let Phoenix keep the ball, they're still working hard. The likes of Milhem, the likes of Zaya, they're still covering a lot of ground with all the little check runs. It is exerting on the body, and you're hoping that when you've had so much of possession, one defensive lapse of concentration might appear. And you saw it just before with Jelenovic getting the chance. But, it could go either way. The Phoenix having so much of possession. Surely at the other end, it's going to result in more chances for them being created. Ali Milhem on the ball is so dangerous. He can break a halfway defense and find an avenue to go. Hawks keeping the ball here nicely. Rendell spreading play out to Sayed. Jelenovic, lovely turn. Al Mohammed with the save. Jelenovic almost hesitated before he shot there. Now Rendell with a good sliding block. And again Rendell. What a goal this would be. Jelenovic, but a double save from Al Mohammed. And Phoenix look to go up the other end, but Sayed clearing the Hawks lines. But that was a piece of goalkeeping brilliance from Muslim Al Mohammed. The worker Rendell to create the chance. The half volley and initial save fell straight to the feet of Jelenovic, who was unmarked, and got himself up to make the second save.
Of course, Muslim Al Mohammadi was crucial for the Phoenix's last win against the Cobras. What are your thoughts on his performance?
Muslim Al Mohammadi last week, but even this season as a whole, he has been exceptional. You look at Phoenix, you see such a talented line, but they're still guilty of giving away chances. But when they do, Al Mohammadi is always there, such a formidable keeper, a hard target to beat. Likewise for the Northern Hawks, Daniel Formato has been exceptional as usual. Well, we expect that from him. Arguably one of, if not the best keeper in WA across both leagues at this point in time. He can play fifth man, who has breached only a mere 8 times this season. And that's not credit to the Hawks defense. There have been games where Hawks have been on the back foot. They solely relied on Formato to keep them in matches, and today he's been stellar. There's nothing real you could have done about either of the goals. Maybe the second one, arguably. With that first goal, his defense let him down. The second one, the Hawks were caught on the break. And what's great about him, they go down a goal, they'll pull him out for the fifth man, and he's known to score in big moments. The winter season, last time around in 2022, it was actually Formato who equalised from playing fifth man in the game, which saw the Northern Hawks go on to win. So we'll see if the Hawks do go down a goal, whether that could be the case again. Ellis trying to find a way through. Obviously a former Golden Boot winner, Tom Ellis, but hasn't found his finest form in the last couple of seasons. Still a player that does possess that quality. Seba, Lukman Sayed, ball to the wing, looking for Rendell. So for McPherson, what a game. Mate, I completely agree. There's a ball lofted over for Seba. It's fallen to the feet of Tatonchi, who's got Alagoda to beat. Alagoda doing enough. The Phoenix crowd wanting the foul. Referee Gab Malako not buying it.
I think it's very interesting here that Hawks have got 2 targets on at the same time, Zeba and Jelenovic. What are your thoughts on this, John? Have you seen either of them play at a fixo position?
Not really. Jelenovic, probably the more truer of the 2 targets. However, it looks like Seba is staying up there for the majority of the time today. Jelenovic has actually found himself on the wing and at the back more often than usual, but he's done a decent job at it. Seba being forced all the way back to Formato. Let's see if we can pick out a pinpoint ball. Opts for the safe option in Jelenovic. Seba finds Lukman Saeed down the line. Alagoda's making the supporting run. Saeed trying to find an avenue to goal. And that's a foul to Chonchi, giving it away. And it's a chance for the Northern Hawks as Maysam Kanani jets back onto the court.
And here I think it's very interesting that you see the Phoenix kind of step off the pedal a little bit, dropping back. You saw Baka kind of looking at the ball, a little bit of ball watching. Do you think this is the first sign of fatigue in this game, John?
It very well could be. You see both sides go through passages of different play styles and both sides going through patches of momentum. We've seen the Hawks press, we've seen them sit, we've seen them keep possession, we've seen them allow Phoenix to keep possession, and now we're seeing that with the Phoenix, who in the first half were opting to press Crowder quite aggressively and now looking to drop back a bit, and I think it could be a sign of fatigue. Remember, if the game stays the way it is, it's going to head into extra time and there will be some tired legs for sure. The likes of Millem, Zayed, Kenani, they've all played a lot of minutes. One of their subs on the bench, our Tintas, hasn't been used that much, so it's almost like they're playing with two. Milham waiting for supporting runs, but he can do it all himself. Ali Milham fires off the right. The shot couldn't match the dribble before that. And I think a rolling foul is being called.
Of course, next season we got to be also scared that I think the Phoenix side that's turning into the EWA Eagles is getting strengthened. I've heard rumours of Dara Dabiri joining the EWA Eagles next season. What are your thoughts on that, John?
Well, they're going to be definitely one of the contenders to be right up there again, obviously with the likes of Cumbre coming over to the league, the likes of Coburn Wolves and Braza Jinga all moving over from the SFL. It's going to be bigger, more competitive and better than we've ever seen it before. And it'll be interesting to see how a couple of their current traditional Supa-Liga stalwart sides go up against the SFL. Big names like Cumbre, like Coburn Wolves. Will the Northern Hawks still continue on their reign of dominance, or can Cumbre write their own names in the history books?
And we see Zeba go back to his traditional role of not only fouling, but also annoying the keeper. What are your thoughts on that, John?
Well, I've seen Zeba do it before. I'm sure I'll see it. I'm sure I'll see him do it again. He goes into the referee's notebook, and he's going to be walking on eggshells for the rest of the match. There's Ali Milham. Lights the crowd up in excitement with that piece of skill. Unfortunately, for Phoenix's sake, the ball just going past the back post. Milham, was that a foul? Malako says yes, and now Milham's going into the book. So plenty of players on bookings. You wouldn't think it's out of the question to see a red card with extra time looming and stakes higher than ever. Currently, Zeba and Jelenovic on yellow cards for the Northern Hawks, and it's actually only just Ali Milham for Phoenix, so a couple in quick succession. It looks like the referees were holding off on the first half cards to not risk an early send-off and kind of ruin the flow of the match. Saeed.
I think it's very interesting. You see Michael DeFilippis and Ali Milham go against each other a bit there. Usually you have the skillful players get tackled or fouled by the more strengthened but less technically gifted players, so it's very interesting to see two very technically gifted players, probably the best of each side, go at each other.
Yeah, it's been a great matchup tonight between DeFilippis and Milham. Obviously, both of them getting their names on the score sheet as Milham looks to go on the outside of DeFilippis. DeFilippis stands true, and he's in trouble now, but somehow gets around Milham with a nice bit of skill. However, he was trapped in the corner and didn't have much room. And it's a timeout for Phoenix Futsal WA. We'll take a breath. We'll have a quick break and be back in just a moment. And we are about to get back underway. Could we see extra time? Could we see penalties like Phoenix faced last week? Currently 186 viewers on the live platforms between Facebook and YouTube. Can we reach 200? Get your friends watching for this final 10 minutes of the finest futsal in WA as Milham's ball astray off the target, giving the Northern Hawks a chance to reset. It's Formato who throws this one long. Longo looking to get the better of Kanani, but Kanani did well. And a corner to follow for the Northern Hawks. Saeed flicks it up to himself.
We have a prediction from the YouTube comment section. Terrence predicting an Omid 30-metre banger. What are your thoughts on that, John? You've seen him at West Coast Cobras. Do you think he's capable of this?
Look, I'm gonna have to be realistic here. It's not Omid's game. Omid's game is he works hard, he assists, and he gets to the back post and finds goals that way. He's not the type of player that's going to net you one from 30 yards. If I had to say one player that could probably do that for Phoenix, it would be Bharat Jaja or maybe Alkarahuli as the youngster Nishana Lakota hitting the outside of the side netting. For the Northern Hawks, if anyone can find the net from distance, I don't know, maybe Devon Rindell, but again, a lot of these sides players don't actually revolve around shooting from distance. They're technical players, they're build-up players. They don't have the type of shots that the likes of Luke Ross or Roberto Boy have. So, and look, with the quality in goal for both sides, I really don't think we're going to see a screamer. But what we do see is a foul going the way of the Northern Hawks on the right side of the court. It's Vinny Longo standing over it.
We see actually the Phoenix Futsal Club racking up fouls here. I'm not sure how many fouls they're on, but it'll be close to 5, won't it, John?
So currently the Phoenix Futsal WA, I think they're both on 3 fouls.
3 fouls, very dangerous position to be here. Of course, every after the fifth foul, every foul is a 15-metre penalty.
Well, 3 fouls apiece with the stakes this high, remembering fouls will carry into extra time if the game heads there. So definitely a decent likelihood of one of these sides going to the 10-metre mark if they're not careful. And what a way that would be if it determined the outcome of the grand final. It's Lukman Saeed, lobs it forward to Longo. And after a very open first half, the second half is much more cagey, like you'd expect in a grand final. Still yet to see a goal thus far. Alkarahuli ordering Milham forward. Kanani. Phoenix recycling possession well. Jaja back to Kanani. In the centre to Milham. To Alkarahuli rather. He plays back to Kanani. Alkarahuli again. Kanani. Hawks are just happy to sit off them. Now here's the man we all want on the ball. Ali Milham, what can he muster up? Zayed! Ooh. And his ball is stray off Kanani. Did well
probably
to cut
should have
inside,
gone,
and you almost thought he was going to pull the trigger.
Yes, he probably should have gone for a shot there. He did have the angle for it.
And we're at 198 live viewers. Come on, let's break the 200 mark. Let's get there. What a game we've had so far. Let's do it justice. It's a Supa-Liga all-time record for this season's grand final. And I think the players on the pitch are doing it justice, putting on a brilliant display as that one trickling through to Formato. Stakes get higher as every second trickles down. The solitary goal, if either side can find it, all the more likely to be decisive. Can Milham stand tall like he has all season? Can Syed be the difference like he was last time around?
Of course, we've seen Northern Hawks do 5th man before. Do we think that Phoenix have done 5th man before, and are they any good at it, John, if the game goes that way?
I've seen them play 5th man. Usually they opt to use Titonchu, this man heading the ball clear, but I don't think there'll be a match for the Northern Hawks in 5th man situations. It's definitely something that suits the Hawks both offensively and defensively. They're so well trained in playing it, and they're so experienced. They've been doing it for quite some time. It's only something that the Phoenix have really implemented more recently. But it'll be interesting to see how it pans out nonetheless. Obviously, for 5th man to come in to fruition, we need to see a goal, which we haven't seen in this second half yet. Both sides more reluctant to take risks, but it's a good challenge from Saeed. They want a handball. It's fallen for Longo. Longo toes it wide. And the rolling foul of the whistle's gone. I'm not sure why, but nevertheless, play's been allowed to continue. Alkarahuli Tries to lay it off into Milham's pass. Milham inside. Al-Karahuli. Marshaled well by Saeed. Kanani. Al-Karahuli flicks it over. Does Ali Milham. Kanani, lovely feed. Could this be the goal? Was that a penalty?
I think that'd be very harsh to be called as a penalty.
It would have been harsh. I don't think there was too much contact, but you can bank that the Phoenix supporters were appealing for it. And it will be a corner to follow. We have cracked the 200 viewer mark. 208 viewers on the stream now. Monumental. Thank you guys for all your support. And as this game gets closer and closer to the full-time whistle, the probability of going into the dreaded extra time goes higher and higher. Nothing to separate these two sides. Very worthy grand finalists. Sayed on the turn. Formato with the catch. And now the Hawks trying to break up the other end. The layoff to Callum Bredemeyer. And he struck the outside of the woodwork on his favoured left foot.
We have, of course, when we were talking about tracking back on the earlier, he has refused to come back, staying as a long target. Of course, we saw this tactic come out at Curtin Futbolista, the end of the summer season 2021. It's called what we call lazy target, where they just stay up there. Maybe this has been communicated to them as a way to break the lines. What are your thoughts, John?
Well, the sheer physicality is why you're going to see Bakaziyad play either at the back, marking the opposition pivot, or play up top as the pivot. Now, they're looking to get Milham at the back, along with Kanani dictating the play, and they're trying to use Baka Al-Kahuli's physicality to create an opportunity. Has it worked thus far? I'm not sure, but all it takes is one opportunity, one turn, and one shot to beat Formato and win the championship for Phoenix Futsal WA. Diego Garcia not leading the line tonight. He's in America, but I'm sure he's watching on in awe of what his side are on the verge of conjuring up. And Milham just slowing this one down as we're on the cusp of stop clock territory.
Of course, if Hawks win this game, they are undefeated the whole season, doing the Arsenal Invincibles justice. What are your thoughts on that, John? Do you think that the league was competitive?
Look, I think the league was very competitive, but I think what the Hawks know how to do is they know how to grind the results, even whilst not necessarily playing their best futsal. Plenty of games they got over the line by a goal or two, even when they might have been on the back foot. Phoenix, on the other hand, in contrary, lost the opening 3 games and have been invincible ever since. The Hawks not losing a match, but picking up a draw against the West Coast Cobras. Phoenix losing the opening 3, and they've won the next 8. And it was, interestingly enough, the loss to the Northern Hawks in round 3 by a 4-1 margin that kicked Phoenix into gear. And it was the motivation that has spurred them on to the heights that they're at now. But it's once again the Hawks that are proving to be the most challenging, as that one final hurdle to Philippus, trying to juggle it over the defense. Milham just putting that one into touch. And a timeout for the Northern Hawks with 1 minute and 46 left on the clock. Don't go anywhere. We could be going into extra time. We've broken well beyond the 200 viewer market, 220 live viewers. Can we reach the next goal of 250 people on the stream? It's only getting more intense. We very may well be going into extra time unless one of these heroes, one of these stars can step up inside stop clock territory and score the decisive goal. What would have this game looked like with Chez Houston, you might be asking? But you can bank that he'll be watching on attentively from the live stream in awe of the way his side are playing. Maybe they don't need him. Maybe they don't rely on him and Formato, two statements I've pushed so much this season. And it's a side ball for the Northern Hawks. Saeed standing over it. He scored against the Hawks last season in the grand final for the Cobras to win them the game. Can he bring a title under his belt single-handedly for the Hawks? That one looking for the back post. Saeed's picked it up, trying to roulette around but loses his footing. Still going, and it's hit the outside of the woodwork again.
Of course, we got to
now Saeed hitting the woodwork.
We got to give a good mention to Chez with his international trip. What are your thoughts on the Atletico Brisbane's performance so far, John?
Oh, look, I think they've been brilliant. A couple of the opposition they played, I'm not sure if it's the fact that they haven't been that good or if it's just that Atletico Brisbane have been that good. But what we will give them credit for, they played Selangor United, which are a professional side, came 5th in the Malaysian Futsal Premier League last season and only went down 4-3. So it shows that the level of futsal in Australia is a lot higher than people think. Obviously, we don't have a professional competition at the moment, but when you look at the players on the court right now, sometimes you wonder why. It's De Philippis winning the sideline ball for the Northern Hawks. Jelenovic slowing play down at the back. Back to De Philippis.
Of course, we saw, I mentioned earlier, the fatigue of Baka not tracking back, and he let his player go earlier, so maybe Baka needs a well-needed rest. He's been doing very well defensively and offensively in this game. What are your thoughts on that, John? Do you think maybe we're seeing the big man a bit tired?
Well, a lot of tired legs for Phoenix, but if they haven't made subs thus far, it's highly unlikely they're going to do so now. They want to go with their core four. They want to see them playing as many minutes as possible. Could it be a tactic that proves costly in the end? Only time's going to tell, but in all likelihood, they may make it through to extra time unless Saeed can finish. Jelenovic, that was the chance they needed from the man they wanted it to be. But Adriano Jelenovic fires wide, and with 28 seconds left on the clock, surely now we're destined for extra time. Unless Ali Milham can go up the other end. But Formato tips it around the post. The crowd is on the edge of their seats. Oh, I can't imagine how anxious the coaches and the players on the bench must be. Formato looks to spark it on quickly to Jelenovic,
who scores
the game. It's Adriano Jelenovic who scores what should be the winning goal with 9 seconds left on the clock. And against all the odds, without their talisman, Chez Houston, the Northern Hawks may very well be due to prevail once again. And it looks like it's going to be 5th man for Phoenix. One final roll of the dice. Time's their enemy. They need one last big chance. To Tonchi. It's not going to be enough. The Hawks are victorious. The Northern Hawks are the champions of the men's Supa-Liga for the 2023 winter season. And what a game that was, Ben. All the drama, all the action now. Keep the camera on that. The crowds come onto the court. So much commotion here. It just goes to prove what it means for both sides. But the Northern Hawks, once again, are triumphant. And wow, it's all kicking off here. What a way to end it. We will be back in just a moment with an interview. We'll actually go through the full-time statistics. So Hawks with 313 attempted passes to Phoenix 309. Hawks with 217 completed passes to Phoenix 216. Hawks with a 69% passing percentage to a Phoenix 70%. The Hawks with 16 pass strings of 6+ passes. The Phoenix also with 16. Possession 52.5% for the Northern Hawks. Phoenix for WA with 47.5%. But it was the shot stats that the Hawks really dominated, especially in the second half. 34 shots, 20 on target, 3 goals, 21 shots, 16 on target, 2 goals. And stick around, we'll be back in a moment with a player interview. I'm joined with Lukman Saeed and Adriano Jelenovic after their emphatic grand final victory from a last-second winner to the man to my left. Now, going into the match, obviously being without Chez Houston, there was a lot of speculation about the Northern Hawks maybe not being able to handle the Phoenix Futsal WA. What was the message coming into the match from Greg, despite being the underdogs, that saw you guys still be able to get over the line even without your star player?
The main message Greg has always told us, even when we had that one training session, is just play simple, just do the basics. That 5-yard pass, every little check run, all those little things, because they add up at the end, you know. You just got to keep it simple, because these guys are obviously very skillful and everything. So he said, don't get into their game, play your own game, keep it simple, and you'll win it. he had enough faith in us. What do you reckon, Adrian?
Now, Adriano, obviously early on in the match, you had a penalty. You were unable to convert, but you kept your head held high, kept going right to the very end and managed to score the winning goal with 8 seconds left on the clock. How did you manage to go from potentially squandering an opportunity and then seeing Phoenix go take the lead down the other end a few minutes later to going and scoring the match-winning goal?
I don't know. I think we trust each other. We've been playing for a little while now together, so we know how to play. We done really well together through the season. We haven't lost it, to be honest. So missing the penalty wasn't a really nice feeling, but it's no end of the world. I knew that we were gonna come back and that we have heaps of goals in us. So I missed a couple sitters over there as well, just minute before. So I knew it's gonna come. I believed it. Even if we went to extra time, I was believing we're gonna win. We had better legs. We are more fitter than them. We had bigger bench. So there was always win for us today, I think.
Now, look, man, going back to you on a personal note, it's 3 doubles in a row. The double last season with the Cobras, where you managed to score the winning goal of the match. The double with Bowker in the SFL. Now the double with the Northern Hawks once again. So 3 doubles for 3 different clubs. The first time in Western Australia that's ever been done. How does it feel?
No, it feels amazing, but, you know, you got to give credit to the team. Like most of the teams that I've played at, everyone around me plays the same. You know, work rate, as long as the work rate's there and you just grind out results. You know, you can achieve anything with any team, doesn't matter where you go. So, yeah, I wanted a bit of a challenge because, you know, Hawks, they got a bit of a young players in there as well. So I wanted to come in, take on a bit of a challenge and join their style of play, which I really enjoy, and it's worked out really well. But, yeah, shout out to the teammates and Greg, of course. Amazing coaching, yeah.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations, boys. Enjoy the victory. And that's wrapping us up for the Supa-Liga this season. Tune in next season to all the action.